Hello everyone, my name is Bryn and welcome back to my channel. Here I talk about my life and studies and what it's like as a student who is living in Australia and someone who is working in management consulting. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing what I spent in a month here in Canberra. This video obviously is quite an intrusive video because usually we're not sharing exactly what we're spending with people. So please be kind in the comments. If people decide to be rude or mean, I will be closing the comments down. So yeah, just bear in mind this is a privilege for me to share this. I definitely don't have to. So yeah, in saying that, in this video I'm going to be talking about two things. One, which is the cost of everything, so basically what I spent in the month, and two is I'm going to break down one grocery budget, and you'll find that below in an Excel spreadsheet you'll be able to see exactly what different goods cost. In case you are thinking about moving to Australia and you'd like an idea of the cost of things. In saying that, I did film part of this video yesterday, that is the grocery breakdown, but I didn't like the rest of what I filmed, so I ended up removing that. So that's why I will change outfit in about, I don't know, in a few minutes. So please don't be alarmed, that was just yesterday. But I am going to now talk about what I spent in a month here in Canberra. I'm going to start with a few disclaimers. Number one is I haven't shared my rent. This is because I think that this is too personal. I also haven't shared my savings or investments. I don't think that those things need to be on the internet, so I am not putting them on the internet. In saying that, the general rent cost for somewhere like where we're living, I should say, is between $400 and $550 a week. And basically we're in a one-bedroom house together, and that would be the total cost of the house per week. So I'm not going to give you any more information than that, but that's because I don't think it's particularly important what my rent is, because rent in Canberra varies a lot depending on where you are, what kind of place you're staying in, all of that. If you click on my cost of living video up here, I've got some links to places where you can look at different rental options, and that would give you a good idea of what the rental market is doing right now in Canberra. So moving on, first of all, bills. So our bills happened to come in this month, and we pay an electricity bill. And for the past quarter, I paid $105, I should say. And then that was for the past 3 months, from January to March. That obviously changes a bit depending on the season, but we're with Energy Australia, I think, but that's just because they do a renewable energy package. So yeah, it was $105 for our electricity. We don't pay water or gas living here, so that is something to keep in mind. Obviously water and gas bills can be quite high as well, and they come every quarter. So if you're living in a house on your own or in a share house, be prepared to have to pay that every 3 months. Next on the list is Wi-Fi, and I pay $40 for Wi-Fi a month, and that is with iiNet. That's just the plan that we're on. Next is groceries, and for this month I spent $251 on groceries, and that was on groceries from the farmers market, free range eggs and stuff, also groceries from Woolworths and Coles. And obviously these costs that I'm listing have been split between me and my partner. I'm not going to go into how we split them, but this is how much I spent. Next is Netflix. I spent $5.50 on Netflix. We have a Netflix account, I think that's a very generational thing. Lots of people in our generation do. There's usually some good stuff on there, and we think it's fine to spend, the cost of 2 coffees on Netflix every month. Next, there is transport. So this month I spent $43 on transport, and that included all of my bus trips, and some of my Uber trips. And so yeah, in total I spent $43. That seems like quite a big amount when I'm thinking about it, but I don't often take the bus. That's something also important for me to say. I take the bus maybe 2 days a week, so that I can go to tennis, and maybe once on the weekend if Lewis and I are going somewhere. So that was only really a few bus trips. I think it's $1.61 per trip if you're a student. So keep that in mind. You can definitely work out how much it would cost for you to go to and from university from your house as well. So yeah, I guess that's sort of dependent on how much you travel. I do a lot of stuff around my house, or we ride our bikes, or like I work from home, so I don't have to go anywhere in that sense. So yeah, that's a very variable cost depending on who you are. Next I have eating out. Now this month was a bit strange because usually we don't eat out very often. We don't get takeaway that often. We don't go to restaurants. Like, COVID's been a thing for 2 years. So at the moment we're just trying to continue to stay safe as we've always been. But this month things started opening up more. The weather was quite nice for most of the month. And we decided to spend some time outside. So we took a few date trips to different places. And obviously we would buy food and we would buy drinks and we would have to pay entry to different things. So in the end this month, I spent $249 on like fun money, going out money, eating out, I suppose. So that included, we got 4 different takeaways. We got 3 from the pizza shop down the road and 1 from the Indian shop. The Indian shop was definitely better. Oh no, sorry, not 3 from the pizza shop. I'm lying to you. We got 2 from the pizza shop, 1 Chinese and 1 Indian. We got one once a week, basically. Right now we're in exam season, so we don't necessarily feel like cooking all the time, and we're lucky enough to be able to afford to have takeaway if we feel like it. And then we also went out to 3 or 4 different pubs and had drinks at those. We bought different craft beers for Lewis to try. What else did we do? We went out to some other places as well. I can't remember now. It's the month has been a long month. But yeah, we just went out a lot more than usual. So usually that portion of our budget is much lower. But for this month, it was higher. And that's just the way things go, isn't it? Because obviously each month is going to be very different for each of us. And I think that's actually something that's quite important, is that, this month is not a typical month, but what is a typical month? In each month, we're going to have different things that we have to pay for. So yeah, I think that take my budget with a grain of salt, because yours might be incredibly different depending on the lifestyle you live. Yeah, that's basically what I have to say about that. But in total, this was $693.05, 50 cents spent this month for me on these things. So yeah, that's basically what I spent this month. As I said before, your costs are likely going to be very different because we're all different people and we all spend our money differently. I've lived on a lot less. I've lived on more. It just depends on the season of life you're in and what you're wanting to do with your money and all of those things. So yeah, hopefully this gives you a very general idea of the cost of things in Canberra. And please enjoy the weekly grocery breakdown that I am about to give you, just to give you an idea of what everything costs here in Australia. And in terms of a breakdown of that was 36.2% spent on groceries, 35% on eating out, 15% on bills, 5% on Wi-Fi, 6% on transport, and 0.8% on Netflix. I'm also going to share with you a breakdown of our groceries for the first week, because I think that it's important that you see how much each of these sort of areas costs, I suppose, because that's probably something that's quite interesting if you're moving here to Canberra. But for the first week of groceries that we bought, we usually buy groceries every 1.5 weeks, more or less. But yeah, this was 1.5 weeks of groceries, basically 1.5 to 2 weeks. And this would have been one of the cheapest shops we did because we did it at Aldi and Woolworths. But obviously when we go to the farmer's market, for example, that's a lot more expensive, just because you're buying like, what's it called? Farm to table. Yeah. So it's a bit more expensive sometimes, but that's fine. I'm happy to pay a bit more if it supports an actual farmer. But basically in this first week of shopping, we spent $35 on fruit and vegetables, $4.66 on meat, $21 on dry goods, $8 on dairy, $3 on cold food, $12 in household things, and $1.14 in miscellaneous. And miscellaneous in this case was the reusable bag and the trolley key. But yeah, that's basically the breakdown of this week's shopping. So 40% of what we spent was on fruit and vegetables, and the next biggest portion was 24%, which was dry goods. So that was like, this is quite a big shop. I had to buy a lot of pastas and tunas and chickpeas and stuff like that. Just lots of dry things to put in salads, for example. The next biggest expense was household. Obviously we needed toilet paper, we needed cleaning stuff, that all went in that category, and also like shampoo and conditioner. Then the next biggest spend was dairy, then meats, and fridge stuff as well. I will leave a link to the entire Excel where I showed like everything that I bought that week and what they actually cost, just so if you're interested, you can have a look and you can see, because it can be good to see how much stuff actually costs here in Australia. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found this useful, especially if you're moving here to Canberra. This wasn't necessarily a fun video for me to make. It's very uncomfortable for me to share these things. But yeah, I hope this gave you a good general idea of what your costs, I suppose, will be here in Canberra. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful, and I look forward to seeing you again at the end of the week. Bye guys.